12 minutes before 9 o'clock. Mark Packer here, and you know, you really shouldn't have.
First of all, let me just, these are not for you, big fella. These are not for you. I saw the story this morning about, you know, local regional flowers, and so I went in the back of my house and I picked these. I know they look like they're from Harris Teeter. Don't let that fool you. These are for the ladies of BTV.
The ladies.
These, so I'm going to just give you
And they're
Chris,
well deserved.
Oh,
Catch, you
come
ready?
on over.
well, I'm not going to catch them. I don't want them to. I don't want them to be.
We've
Oh, my
already screwed up
goodness.
the sports thing. That's all right.
We have.
And I want you to distribute these accordingly to all the fine ladies of BTV.
Okay.
All right, that's what this is for.
I will do that right now
That's
while
all
you're
your story.
talking
The
sports.
guy, you know, he's a
Thanks,
romantic
Packer.
at heart.
That's exactly.
A romantic at heart.
Now let's get right to Valentine's Day, the great American male ripoff. Now we can talk.
You do
What?
whatever you want for the next 20 minutes.
That's right. We got pizza, we got donuts, and roses for the BTV ladies. That is what I deliver to this segment.
You deliver a lot to this segment. That's all right, and some of it can be found on the sole of my shoe right now. But that's a whole other thing.
Let me tell you something. That helps in growing fine roses. Now, I can
right.
go there if you want, because those are homegrown. I picked those right from the backyard.
I can tell too. You got a green thumb and everything.
I kill cacti.
Well,
by the way, you know what I
yes.
thought about doing for this segment?
What did
I
you
really,
think?
I didn't know if Christine was going to be here or not, but I really thought, in honor of this week of Charlotte sports, I was going to come here and just put a hoodie over my head and answer questions.
All right.
I am so disappointed in the Panthers. I got to be honest with you. I really thought they were going to win and maybe win big.
I did too. The one time where I was just really big, like I was convinced in my heart, I said they're going to win this game, and then
so
they
too.
don't. And I hadn't been that way. I hadn't felt so good about a game all season long until this. If you had one comment to make about the whole game, I mean, how would you wrap it up? How would you characterize
Totally
it?
disappointing, even though that's 2 words. But I was just disappointed. I thought Carolina was better than Denver. Can take nothing away from Denver's defense. They're out of sight, play great D. But the Panthers played the one game this year that we just really haven't seen them play.
No.
I mean, 4 turnovers to get you beat against a good team. But, again, it was an awesome season, but just a disappointing end. Really was.
Can they make it next year back
Sure.
to the Super Bowl, you think?
I mean, listen, it's always tough, but this team's built with Cam Newton back, with a chip on his shoulder. He'll learn from his mistakes, and Panthers will be fine.
All right.
But a tough loss.
March Madness, I can't believe how close it is right now. And I got to ask you about the one team that I'm wondering about now, how they're going to do, and that's Duke. After they had the win the other night against a ranked team, and now they're going to be playing, let's see, they're playing
Virginia.
number 7 Virginia this Saturday. What are your thoughts about Duke? Can they crawl their way back up into the top 25?
They should be a top 25 team. Losing to Emil Jefferson has hurt them, but their backcourt's still young. You know, the one-and-dones from last year, Kentucky and Duke kind of going through that this year. I had Mark Turgeon, the head basketball coach of Maryland, on our show this week, and I asked him, how many teams do you think could make it to Houston, the Final Four? His answer was 40. He thinks there are 40 teams right now in college basketball good enough to get to the Final Four. It just goes to show you the amount of parity that we have right now in college hoops. It's been a crazy, wild season.
It has been. I love your tweets about the different games, the different things that are going on. How would you characterize this season? I mean, as far as crazy and wild, I mean, is it just so topsy-turvy that nobody can predict really anything?
There's no great team, but we've got a bunch of really good teams. We see them here in North Carolina. Of course, the Teals are going to be doing their thing. Duke will bounce back. Virginia's awfully good.
Yeah.
And, of course, tomorrow in the SEC is going to be interesting. South Carolina in first place, hosts Kentucky, also in first place. You got Texas A&M and LSU. They're going after each other. It's really wild. The ACC, the SEC, really
great.
Around the country, it's been that way. It's really been incredible.
I got to ask you one last thing. Roy Williams and the vertigo issues that he's having. Do you have any insight into that? I mean, as far as how he's doing?
Well, he's doing okay, but he's really suffered that bout for like the last 15, 20 years. But when he went down the other night, I was worried for him because I've seen him go down to one knee. You lose your balance and all that stuff. But he really went down hard the other night at BC. But hopefully he's going to be okay.
All right, Mark Packer. Follow him on Twitter, on SiriusXM.